While many people celebrate professional baseball's greatest home runs or its best players, we choose to honor the wackiest, the most ridiculous, or the most downright embarrassing things to happen during a game. Some of those many would like to forget, but we're not going to let them. Number 10. Plague of Midges. The Cleveland Indians baseball stadium and much of Cleveland itself is built by a lake, which often leads to some strange problems. In a playoff game between the New York Yankees and the Cleveland Indians, thousands of midges came out of the lake in huge numbers and affected the course of the game. Though they're generally harmless, the sheer swarm seriously tweaked Yankees pitcher Joba Chamberlain to the point that he couldn't concentrate. The bugs ended up swinging the game for the Indians, who ended up winning the series against the Yankees. Talk about a home field advantage. Number 9. A no-hitter pitched while on LSD. Doc Ellis was having a normal day. He was hanging out with a friend and doing all of the drugs, especially LSD. Suddenly his girlfriend read in the newspaper that Ellis was supposed to be pitching for the Pittsburgh Pirates that day. Despite running late, he did manage to make it to the stadium, where he proceeded to light up the opposition while he was lit up himself. Ellis became the first and, as far as we know, only pitcher to pull off a no-hitter while tripping the light fantastic. In fact, Ellis was so high he didn't even know that he was pitching a no-hitter and interpreted his teammates' silence as disapproval for his druggy life. In fact, they were simply observing an age-old tradition of not speaking to a pitcher during a no-hit bid so as not to break the pitcher's concentration. Number 8. Potato baseball. Dave Bresnahan played for a minor league team and was a bit of a practical joker. He stayed up all night, slowly and intricately carving a potato into a perfect replica of a baseball. Then, the next day, he put his plan into play. There was a runner on third, and he threw the fake ball into the outfield. The runner came home and was tagged out with the real ball that Bresnahan still had in his hand. The umpire quickly figured out what happened and was not at all pleased. He ruled the runner safe at home, and Bresnahan was fired from the team shortly after. While he may have lost his job as a baseball player, he still regularly gets mail from fans of his admittedly clever potato gag. Number 7. Bird interference. Legendary player Randy Johnson was pitching a preseason game, and what had to have been the unluckiest bird in history decided to get right in front of a pitch. In the video we're showing here, you can see exactly what happens. He throws the ball, suddenly there's a puff of feathers, and boom, that is absolutely a bird. Number 6. Player starts a riot with heckling fans. Normally it's the fans that start a riot with each other or with the players. In this case, however, things took a turn for the bizarre. The Texas Rangers were playing against the Oakland A's, whose fans are known for being extremely belligerent. The heckling got so bad that a Ranger pitcher completely lost his temper and went on the attack, throwing a metal folding chair into the stands and launching himself at the fans. The unrest between the fans and the players was so bad that the umpires considered calling the game as a forfeit and just clearing out the whole stadium to avoid any further trouble. The fan who was hit with the chair walked away with a broken nose and, I'm sure, a healthy out-of-court settlement. Number 5. Back-to-back home runs off the same foul pole. In the same game, back in July of 2012, so many odds were defied that it's actually hard to calculate. First, one home run was hit off a foul pole, and then later on in the game, another home run hit the exact same foul pole. Apparently, the last time this happened was in the year 2000, which was when they first started recording home runs that were hit off foul poles. The odds truly do boggle the mind. Perhaps baseball is played entirely by wizards. Number 4. Playing a useless game through serious injury. It's one thing to play through an injury during an important game, but how about when it truly could not matter less if you played or you didn't? Such was the case during an All-Star game played by Red Sox legend Ted Williams. Being an All-Star game, the outcome and who contributed to it didn't matter in the least. Yet Williams, after breaking his left elbow during a catch early on in the game, still continued playing for 7 innings after. Not only that, but even after he broke his elbow, he made an important catch and hit a single that put his team ahead. Number 3. Rain delay in a domed stadium. It doesn't make sense that you should have a rain delay in a stadium with a retractable dome, but that actually ended up happening in Toronto in the middle of a Blue Jays game. This happened all the way back in 1989. The stadium management was not prepared for the weather, expecting a mere light drizzle, so they didn't close the roof of the stadium. Then the drizzle turned into a torrential downpour, and they were left with a delayed game and a lot of angry fans who were not exactly expecting such an utterly avoidable snafu. It turns out that the dome cannot close safely if there are high winds, which happen to be a common thing, during storms. Perhaps they should have closed it, given they were expecting rain, but that would have been a bit too simple. Number 2. Manager in disguise. Bobby Valentine has been involved in baseball for a long time and has always been a little eccentric, but during one game, when he was manager of the New York Mets, he took it to the next level. It started with him getting ejected from a game for arguing with an umpire, which is actually a pretty normal occurrence in baseball. However, Valentine was not content sitting this game out and decided that he still needed to be around to keep things going properly. While a sane manager might have tried to coach things using a phone or perhaps some other clever trick, he had other ideas. Valentine donned a fake mustache and returned to the dugout, and you can see that in the video here. He was suspended and fined for his joke, but it definitely goes down as one of the goofiest moments in sports history. We really can't help but feel here that he could have come up with a better disguise. Literally, anything else would have been better. Number 1. Bill Veeck's entire career. Bill Veeck was by far the most insane owner in the history of baseball and was better than anyone at getting people out to the park. Among his antics, he brought midgets in as a gimmick and sometimes held weddings on the field. He offered prizes of live animals and once awarded a 200-pound block of ice, which hopefully the recipient had a use for. He also once gave the manager a gigantic birthday cake, except instead of the usual pretty lady you would expect to pop out, a new player made an appearance instead. Thankfully, that new player was not wearing a sexy bikini. So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did, do give us a like below. And don't forget to subscribe. We've got brand new videos just like this every day of the week. So hit that subscribe button to get all of those. And as always, thank you for watching.